So what I want to do is really go today. We're going to go wide when it comes to AI. So there's a ton of different use cases, and what I want to do is expand your belief system around what's possible when it comes into the conversation of artificial intelligence. And this is going to cross over not just into your business, but also some of the ways that you can use it in life, so you can be more effective, more efficient, but also that you have the competitive edge in the real estate space. Okay, that's the ultimate focus for today. And so some of the things I'm going to share, I'm going to show tools that some of you may say, you know what, that's just not for me, and that's okay. What I want you to do is come out of this saying, what's the one, two, or three max technology tools I want to add to my toolbox or my toolkit this year? Okay. And so we'll have this conversation. Now, to kick off, let's just go through a few different pieces. I'm actually show this little video first. See if the sound will work. So just a little snippet, and I know we couldn't hear everything there, but what it was is showing different companies launching their different AI tech tools over the last roughly 6 months. More enhancements, improvements. You've got Google, you've got OpenAI, you've got Microsoft, all these different companies, Amazon, that are getting into the AI space. And what you're, for those of you who are using this, you'll notice that it changes so rapidly. Okay, the growth curve on AI is far different than what our minds can actually comprehend. And so one funny thing that you'll realize is that a tool that you might have used 3 months ago or 6 months ago might have a completely different, not only just facelift on the structure, but also the outcomes that it can provide you are way different. And so sometimes tools don't work effectively, but what it is about is you being very aware of the different upgrades that have been added to some of these tools. So I'll show you some of the things, even for example, with ChatGPT, that you may not be using to its full advantage. So this is CEO of Alphabet, and he said artificial intelligence could have a more profound implication for humanity than electricity or fire. Okay. And I really want you to think about this for a moment of how much of the world is going to be impacted by what's coming with AI. And I shouldn't say what's coming, what's here. And that's what I really want to showcase today. So this is ChatGPT breaks the internet, fastest growth time to 1 million users. So Netflix at the top of this from 1999 took 3.5 years. Twitter in 2006 took 2 years to get to 1 million users. Instagram took 2.5 months. GPT took 5 days. Okay, for perspective. So the rate of adoption of AI is happening very, very fast. And agents and entrepreneurs who use this effectively actually have a massive strategic advantage. So this is actually a post by Goldman Sachs. They talked about how Forbes wrote the article, but Goldman Sachs predicted that 300 million jobs will be lost or degraded by artificial intelligence. Okay. And what I would hope is that you don't fear that line. You don't fear that headline. Instead, you ask, one, we're in a very relationship-based industry, right? So we actually have a lot of insulation. But what I do believe is agents who are leveraging AI to give their clients and their consumer the best experience 3 years from now are going to outperform agents who are not. Okay. So the competitive advantage comes to you studying this technology and saying, what are the vast use cases beyond kind of the simple stuff that everybody uses it for, which is, hey, write me an email or improve this email or improve this text message, which are kind of the basic layers to start with. So this is why I believe AI is a non-negotiable competitive advantage. Okay. AI in business is projected to grow at a compound annual rate of 35%. Okay. Now we know compounding interest has a massive impact on what we'll call ROI. Okay. What I want to say is this is going to be the ROI of your productivity, not necessarily dollar figure, but your productivity can compound at a 35% annual rate of improvement if you use AI in your business. Okay. So you've got to be an early adopter. The question I want you to think about today is, am I behind? And the reality is no, it's just getting started. But if you don't start today, you could quickly fall behind. Okay, if you're not using this tech. So I do want to preface too, these are the 3 reasons why most agents will struggle to leverage AI. Number one, with AI paralysis, there's so many options and tools out there, and also not fully sure on how should I be using it. What are the different areas or ways I can leverage it in my business to make sure that I have two things: more money and then more time, right? How do I get my time back, or how do I improve my business to earn more income? Those are the two things that you should ask yourself when you're picking an AI tool or solution: is it going to help me earn more money, or is it going to give me my time back? Johnny pointed out something very valuable and important, is that there's toys in when it comes to AI, and then there's tools. So toys are the things that are, yeah, it's kind of fun to play with it and it's kind of a cool thing, but it's not going to actually directly impact the profitability of your business. Okay, so don't get stuck playing in the sandbox with toys when it comes to tech tools. Make sure that you're leveraging it in a way that's actually going to grow your business and provide you income. The second core roadblock is death by prompts. There are so many different ways that you can prompt AI, and a prompt is simply the input. Okay, and the quality of the output or the work that it gives you is highly dependent on the quality of the input. Okay, what you're prompting it, or what story you're telling it. And so what you really want to focus on is how to get better at prompting AI to give you the result that you want. And I'll show you a little trick to doing that. And then last one is failure to prioritize learning. So neglecting to dedicate time to study, practice, and enhance your skills. I see too often where we might dabble with this. What I would tell you is to go all in with how can I use it on a daily basis in my business to get more results, okay? And so if you do not prioritize learning, you are going to fall behind. These are the 4 pillars, not 3, the 4 pillars of opportunity that AI provides. It's faster, smarter, better, and more cost effective, okay? It can provide you resources in a way faster way than anywhere else, doing your own research or reading a book, watching a YouTube video. And it's also taking in the collective intelligence that it's been learning from everybody that's used it, right? And it's searching the internet and scouring all knowledge bases to become smarter. And so you'll find, how many of you use Chat GPT like late 2022, early 2023 when it's first launched? The difference in the responses that you get today compared to then, wildly different. Right? Yeah, it's like elementary to college type learning curve, and that's just in a 2-year stint, right? Very quick, short time. And it is the most cost-effective route. So this is actually a great competitive way. If you do not have a team, if you're not running a team, AI is your ability to be able to compete with teams by hiring different AI technology tools. Okay, so if you can't afford to hire a full-time marketing director or a full-time lead generation expert onto your team, you might need to look at AI as that potential solution until you get to the point where you can bring on a full-time team member, okay? And then teams in the room as well. If you are running a team, you should be thinking about how can I help support my people in a better way by helping them to leverage technology tools to grow our business. Okay, so let's dive right into some demos. So we're going to talk about how to unlock the full power of AI in your business. And it starts with getting very familiar with all the different options that are out there, okay? One reality check as I go through these demos, it's not going to be perfect, okay? There might be some things that spit back that are not what I'm looking for. And the reality is that AI is just a toddler. It's just getting started. It's only 1.5 years, 2 years old. It's not perfect. But don't overlook the speed by which it learns and improves. So I had a conversation last week where somebody's like, yeah, I tried that tool and it just was kind of crappy, right? And that was like 6 months ago. It is not the same tool as today as it was 6 months ago. So some people will sleep on a different technology solution thinking that it's not quite ready. What you should be doing is consistently checking back and seeing if it's upgraded and learned to be a little smart. And I'll show you some examples of that. My one recommendation for this year is to just build your tech stack for maximum leverage. So what that means is you want to, and when I say tech stack, that means different pieces of technology that you pair together to give your business the best chance at thriving in the year ahead, okay? So you have to use maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 different pieces of technology and pair those together to get the result that you're trying to aim for. And you want to be as lean as possible. So it's not about saying, I want to go get 20 different technology solutions. You just want to find the minimum viable solution. So how can I do this with 3, 4, 5 tools, or the minimum tech stack that's going to give you the necessary resources that you need to thrive? The questions that you should be asking. These are key questions of how to identify what you need in your tech stack. One is where are you losing time? Where are you currently inefficient? Okay. One of those places I would really quickly look is in your email inbox. How many of you have more than 10 emails in your inbox right now? Okay. Probably everybody in this room. And so how can you use some tech tools to help you filter through your emails, get rid of spam, get rid of the clutter, so you can be able to focus on what's most important. Second question, what tasks require expertise that you do not have? Okay. How many of you went to college and got a marketing degree by raise of hand? Okay. How many of you are in a real estate industry that requires you to be a professional marketer? Raise your hand. Okay. Everybody. So there's 2 people that raised their hand that actually went to school for it, yet everybody in this room actually needs to be an expert at it. Okay. And when I say marketing, that is effectively communicating to your clients and helping them move through a process. Last question is, what services seem out of reach due to cost? What things do you say, hey, I can't afford to hire a full-time person to edit my videos for YouTube or for social media? Well, that stuff is now possible at a very cost-effective route through AI. And I'll show you what that looks like. Okay. So let's get into it. Last thing on this note is realize that different tools have different use cases, and it's kind of like a toolbox. So you don't want to use a power drill in a setting where a screwdriver is needed, right? Or let's say a wrench, right? For example, or a hammer. And so what you want to do is identify within your tech stack, what is this tool going to be used for, and kind of define, this is when I go to this tool, or this is when I use this different piece of technology. So these are different tools that you can look at. The first ones I'll point out, Chat, Perplexity, Jasper, and Claude. Those are all what's called LLMs, okay? Large language models. And what they essentially do is they're able to take in a lot of data and spit out responses just like ChatGPT does, but they all have different personalities, okay? I'm going to show you Perplexity, which is one of my favorites. Jasper is great for marketing. So if you're going to create social media posts, has anybody done something with chat and it spits out a response? You're like, I can totally tell it's AI. Like, I'm not going to post that on my social media, or I'm not going to send that email out, right? It just doesn't sound human-like. Well, Jasper is really good from a marketing perspective, where it creates very humanized type responses. And so if you're going to create any social media stuff, email marketing sequences, things like that, Jasper is a great tool. And then Claude is great as well for more data. It can actually fit more data prompts inside its window. And so if you're uploading like a 100-page PDF of a report, or maybe a legal document, and saying, help me understand the keys within this legal document, or help me to digest all of this market data that was put into these slides, Claude is actually better than ChatGPT at doing that. Loom is for video. And actually, let's just dive into some examples. So let's start with ChatGPT. So how many of you are on the paid plan? Okay. Honestly, this is probably the one encouragement I'd do is pay $20, hire yourself the most powerful virtual assistant, period. Okay. You have way more ability with the paid plan on chat, on OpenAI, and it's $20 a month. Okay. So very affordable. And it can do pretty much anything you need from a strategic thinking perspective. That's what it's really good at. So I'm going to just show you guys some examples. One is starting with how to create prompts. Okay. One of the things that I've done is learned that chat is actually way better at creating prompts than I am. And so what I'll do is just throw in a simplified version of my prompt and have it create the actual prompt I'm going to then use in AI. So an example of this, and some of the stuff I've already done just in case Wi-Fi is not strong. I just wanted to have some examples ready for you guys. So I just threw in this little prompt, and I said, with a slight undertone of Phil Jones, the author of Exactly What to Say, create a first-time homebuyer's guide that helps my clients understand the process. What it did is said, here's your improved prompt. Act as an expert real estate, and tell me which one's better, okay, as you're looking at these things. Act as an expert real estate consultant and persuasive communicator, blending the conversational trust-building tone of Phil Jones, create a comprehensive yet easy to understand first-time homebuyer's guide that educates and reassures my clients about the home buying process. The guide should include structure, or should be structured in a step-by-step format, addressing key topics such as budgeting, mortgage options, yada, yada, yada. So I'm going to actually use this prompt now and go and have it build this. Now, if you're using the paid version, you can create docs editable documents within ChatGPT. So I'm going to say, create this in a document. And it will open up a separate window for us, as you can see, and I will be able to edit this after it's done. Okay. And so I have more flexibility to then go customize it. I want to be the chief editor. So I want it to think and create the resource for me. And then I want to go in there and adjust it, make tweaks. Okay. To sound maybe a little bit more like my tone, and maybe rearrange some different processes. But you can also go ahead and copy and paste this now into a Google Doc, or into a cool tool called Typeset. And this will create a kind of a visual appealing PDF for your clients. If you want to create a high level or high quality, this is an example of the Wealth Mastermind for those of you who came last week, where this, I just copied all the notes, pasted it, and then it spit out this PDF for me. And it formats it as well. Okay. So if you're trying to, hey, I'm going to create a client presentation, you can do PDFs, social media, or slides as well. Typeset did. Yep. Let me just see if this prompt was a little bit longer, so it's probably still going. So as you can see, again, too, when you pay for the upgraded version, it's going to give you way better responses and far more data that it's going to provide you with. Now, how long would this normally take somebody to create this if you're going to handwrite it and research and go find the best tools and stuff to put in there? This is probably going to take me 5 minutes to put together. Now, is that giving my consumer, my client, a better experience than an agent who's not doing this? Absolutely, right? So that's one example. Now let's go through, I'm going to just copy this really quick and just show you. So if I go to a Google Doc, if I just wanted to put it in here, keep it simple, I can share that with clients if I needed to, or again, I could go make it a little prettier version and do it through Typeset. So in here, this tool does have a little bit more nuances you have to play with, but you can paste the content in here and you can see it's put on different pages, and then I can go customize the fill. But every page you click on, you can now go ahead and you'll see this little magic thing pop up, and you can click a photo. It will bring a photo in, and then I can say, you know what, I don't like that photo. I want to replace that. And I can say budget, and I can pull in a different photo and replace it. Okay. So within minutes, I can create a very high quality PDF for my clients, and you have full flexibility over the design, the aesthetics that you choose within this presentation. So you can go over here and change to different colors, different formats, layouts, everything. Okay. So
like pull photos and logos out of this Drive folder.
I don't know about it like automatically adding it to here, but you can for sure add like your logo and stuff. So when you come on here, there's a little plus button and you can add in like an image. So if you added your logo or branding, stuff like that, absolutely. You can do a bunch of stuff on here. Let me zoom in a little bit for you guys. So these are all the different things that it can put in. It could put in a bar chart. It could put a button so it's clickable. Hey, download this resource now, or go to my website. You can do a bunch of different stuff within here, or have AI as well. The AI on this tool is not as good, so I like creating it in Chat or Jasper and then bringing it in, because when you have it write it, it's not the greatest quality. Cool. Let's jump back. Okay, so that's one example. Another would be your event notes. So how many of you use Otter AI? Okay, everybody should use Otter AI. Otter AI is a tool where it will record. If you go to trainings, events, or if you're having client consultations, you should record all of those. When you're doing a listing presentation or a buyer consultation, or you're going to an event, like if you're going to family reunion, or if you're in this room right now, you probably should be having Otter record this conversation. Because what it does is it records the entire meeting, the whole transcript. This is from last year. This is from family reunion 2024. And whenever you take pictures on your phone, it will automatically insert it into the note section where you took the photo. So if she's talking about something and she's sharing a slide, so this is Cody Sanchez's presentation, she was sharing this slide and I took a picture of it, and it inserted the photo right into that section. What I can then do is go export up here and export this transcript. I then go into Chat and I have a prompt, let's see, that I've already done again, just in case the Wi-Fi was not working great. And I just say generate in-depth prompt or notes from this event using the provided transcript. And I just put the PDF transcript in here. And then it threw out the event notes. I didn't like the first version that it spit for me. And so I said, rewrite that in the format of a Cornell Notes and sentence structure. And so I've got all of my notes here, which then I can go ahead and just simply copy, paste, and I've got well-formatted notes that I can then go add in anything I did really write down as well. But it also catches a lot of the things that maybe like I wasn't able to write fast enough or I overlooked. And it also puts it into a better format than what I was handwriting. So I love the ability to use Otter AI with ChatGPT to be able to resurface those top key points, top takeaways from my notes. And then the other aspect is client recap emails. Okay. So if you are doing a consultation, buyer presentation, whatever it might be, you should be recording that conversation and then having it tell you what the hot buttons were or what the important items were for your client. Okay. So if you go in here, this is again, Otter AI. If I'm in here, and this is just our normal executive leadership team meeting that we do every week. And it recorded the conversation and you can ask questions in here and it will provide some question recommendations as well. So for example, what can we take to improve our onboarding experience? We're talking about our onboarding experience here at KW in our ELT meeting, and then it's going to spit out from your guys' conversation, here's the actionable steps you can go take to go and improve your onboarding process. Okay. So this tool is very powerful in its ability. It will provide you with a summary as well. So if you're like, okay, it does provide a little summary of here's some of the pain points, here's the roles, here's sentiment, timeline for any meeting that you record. It's going to provide this outline update for you. Okay. Yes. Yeah, just on my phone. The Otter app on my phone. Yeah. Yep. Great question. And
the one that does YouTube, like where you just can put in a link for YouTube and it'll take
transcribe.
Transcribe, yeah.
Yep. You can do it to transcribe notes. So yeah, if you just go to YouTube. Yeah, I would just go to this. As you can see, I've done it, but you go to YouTube to transcript, you paste the YouTube link in here. Then you take that and add it to ChatGPT and say, okay, I don't want to watch this hour-long video. Give me the 10-minute cliff notes. That's going to be the highest impact for my business. Okay, let's do another play with chat. So how many of you like to read books? Okay, awesome. I'm not saying this is a replacement for books, but you can't read 100 books a year time-wise if you're doing other things like living life and building your business, things like that. But for example, when I was going through this process of saying I really wanted to study AI, how can I read 20 different AI books, but in a more effective time? And so I just did it through having ChatGPT write me a book summary for each of them. And then I was able to go through and read all those books. Now, here's an example, though, of the difference in your prompts. So I'm going to put this book, which is Endless Referrals. It's a real estate agent book. And I'm going to just say, provide me a summary of this book. Now, it's going to go ahead and throw me a summary. And I'm going to just stop it in a second. Because what I've done is gone and created, if you, again, pay for the upgraded version of OpenAI, you will have this projects option. Okay, you can now create projects within ChatGPT and you can train it to do things in a very specific way. So what I've done is I've created one that is like basically my book summarizer, but I want the output of the book to be in a very particular way so that when I read it, it's as if I actually read that book. Does that make sense? And so now what I've done is trained it. I've given it instructions. So you can give it instructions that it will always remember for this specific task. And I've told it whenever I put the author's name in the book to create a high value book summary. Now, with that, what it spit out. So if I put this same thing in here, all I need to do is the name of the book and the author. And it's going to go ahead and build me a very in-depth book review. Okay. And while that's playing, let's look at a few other options on here. So another great strategy to use, again, for the strategic approach is having it to create your standard operating procedures. Okay. So when you think about your business, one of the roadblocks to being able to hire, support, or other people to help you grow your business is not being able to effectively pass on the information that you know of how to do a certain task or project, right? So have ChatGPT create that in-depth, step-by-step guide or standard operating procedure that your team can live by. And so you can go ahead and, for example, if you were to say, hey, for open houses, create a detailed, maybe you don't have your own operating procedure of how do I get the most ROI, return on my time for running open houses. So you tell ChatGPT, build me a standard operating procedure that shows me how to do open houses at the highest level possible. What's the marketing plan that I should deploy leading up to the open house? And give me outline strategies for social media, email campaign, paid ads, local marketing, MLS. I want all of it. And then you can put this into ChatGPT and it will spit out. Now, again, who do you think created this prompt? Yeah, I didn't create it. I created the idea of like what the outcome was, but I had it build me the prompt because it's far more in-depth and detailed than I would have created. Does that make sense? Okay. So you use ChatGPT to create your prompts for you.
There's several little versions of it. What do you use the most? There's the O3 Mini. There's 4.0.
I use 4. Yeah. Most of all of my prompts are on 4.0. Yep. It's the fastest model. And so again, here's the book review. That's all done. And it will go through and say, what's the highlights? Now, again, I can read this in 10 minutes versus I could have read the book over 3 hours. Right. Now, again, it's not a complete replacement. There's some books where I'm like, this is an awesome book. I want to go deeper. I'm going to buy the book and now read the whole thing. But this gives me at least very high level cliff notes to where I can digest it and understand the concepts. Does that make sense? Okay, let's jump into a different tool for time. How many of you use Midjourney? Okay. We'll come back to Perplexity. Okay, so these were some of the first photos that AI generated. This is Shrek on the Conan O'Brien show. How many of you are going to send that out in an email newsletter? And this is one of those examples where somebody was like, yeah, it's not good at that. And so they don't use it anymore. And I'm like, well, have you tried it today? It's very different, okay? Here's some of the DALL-E first photos that it created. DALL-E version 1 on the left, DALL-E version 2 on the right, okay, of a fox. Here's another image. Does it look real at all? Would any of you think this was a real photo? No, right? So this is some of the limitations that AI, I would say, once had. I'm going to now let's do a little test. I'm going to show you some photos. You're going to either raise your hand in the air. We're going to play a little game. 1 or 2. You're going to tell me which image is AI generated and the other one is a photo. So you're going to put up which one you think is AI. 1 or 2. Make sense? Got 5 seconds. Which one's AI? Put your hand up.
Which one is AI?
Yep, which one is AI? Okay, which one is AI? Okay. Which one is AI? Which one is AI? Click your finger up. 1. Which one?
Yeah.
Which one? Okay. Here's the kicker. Every single image is AI generated. Okay.
That's tricky.
Did anybody think the house was AI generated? Like, that looks like an actual construction site, does it not? Okay, so this tool is called Midjourney, Midjourney. Midjourney. So I can't hear you, sorry. No, so let's play with this really quick. It's creating these images. So let's go and use a few prompts. So does anybody have a vision board at home? Okay. This is probably one of the first times you can now create a very customized vision board. This is like in my basement in the future, I would like a kind of spa. And so I'm going to ask it to create me an ancient Roman luxury meets modern spa, a high-end basement bath house. And I put a little bit more details in here. Now, this thing, what it will do is it's going to create 4 different versions. So you can choose which one you like most. And you can customize the prompts afterwards as well, and actually have it to re-enhance the photos. So you can say, change this, change that. But this is just an example of how quick was that? 10 seconds, right? Now think about the different ways that you can use this. I just want to show you different ways. So this is specifically, you're going to create maybe your own vision board of what are the things that you'd want. Let's look at let's say that you're going to actually you're sitting with clients. Has anybody built a custom home with a client before? Let's say that you're sitting with a builder and your client is describing to the builder what they're envisioning or what they're wanting. You should be having Otter AI take notes, right? You should then say, I know what my clients want. I'm going to take that and put it into this. And afterwards, I'm going to send them some ideas and just say, hey, I know you guys said that these were some of the visions you had for your dream home. I prepared a few different options of idea generation that you guys can look at. Check out this portfolio of different options. And you might have a Google Drive with 10 of these AI generated images that gives them ideas of what their home could look like. Is that different from the other agent who says, I'll let them discuss that with the design team and the builder and just let it go?
Yeah.
It's a different experience, right? So in this one was a rustic yet refined kitchen design, a fusion of modern and mountain aesthetics. So depending on what my clients shared, I might say, okay, which one do I actually think really fits what they're looking for? I think that they're trying to explain this. Does that not look like Utah in the background? Okay.
Tony, can I ask a quick question on copyright on AI images? Like if we create this stuff, is there any conversation around giving credit and copyright?
No. So depending on what platform you're using, like Midjourney is, as long as you're paying for their plan, you can use the images for any kind of marketing use externally, commercially. If you're going to just do it one-to-one, where it's just to a client, you're totally free to use it at any time, even if you cancel the subscription. So this one's $10 a month to have access to this. And you have about 3,000 photos you can generate a month at that $10. This is an astronaut riding a horse. So maybe you're going to post a social media attention grabber and I don't know, or put something in your email newsletter to clients. And you don't want some of the kind of crappy images that you find online. You know how long it takes to find what you're looking for. So maybe you just throw it into this and have it create the image for your newsletter or social media for you. Okay.
Can you upload photos and have it manipulate or change things?
You can. I haven't played with that feature personally, so I'm not sure how good it is, but you can. Yeah. And with this again is way better, as you can tell, than like chat. If I put the same one into ChatGPT. So again, this is where it says, I go back to knowing which tool is good for what. Okay. Chat can use DALL-E to create images. It is not the same experience as Midjourney, right? And so we'll look at the quality of this image. Will probably still look a little cartoonish. Okay, that's what it spit out. Big difference, right? So yeah, Midjourney is definitely the best tool when it comes to image generation. You can see some of the other ones that I've created here. Even some of the images for the slides today were created from this app. Giving a client, maybe you're staging a client's home and you're telling it to create some images of some potential options when it comes to staging. Again, these look like actual photos, right? You're creating visions of your home gym. So it's pretty dynamic in its approach and what it can create. Let's look at Perplexity. How many of you use Perplexity AI? Okay. After today, how many of you are going to use Perplexity AI? Okay. So this is the replacement for Google. This is the Google killer. This is what I'll call it. Okay. So anything that you are ever typing into Google, you should no longer do. You should be putting it into Perplexity. It's free. I should say they do have a pro version. I have only ever used the free version, and I've never had a problem with it. It provides everything that I need on the free level. So this is an example. I said to analyze current Utah housing market trends and create an easy to understand market update that helps buyers and sellers make informed real estate decisions. Now I can do the same thing in chat in OpenAI, but it does not provide me the same level of detail and data as this does. So what this is going to do is go look at all these sources. It's going to put it in a very digestible format. So it's going to give me this, and I can put this into an email newsletter. I can even go take this, put it into Jasper, and have it rewrite it in a more email format for my clients. So my email newsletter can be enhanced. But it's going to show out pricing trends. How long does it take you guys to do some market analysis and go find data on what's going on in the Utah real estate market? Right? You have to do some digging in different places. And the challenge is when you type this into Google, what does Google do? It shows you a bunch of websites you can click on and go down the rabbit hole on, right? It does that all for you. So it shows me all of the sources of where it pulled data from. It then packaged it in a very well-structured way and even split it up by different areas of Utah. And then it said, well, here's some advice for buyers. Here's how it's important to them. This is one of the key separating factors that you should utilize is you need to be able to digest data and explain it to a buyer or seller and what it means for them. Okay. You can't just throw out a market stat and say, here's the market stats, because they don't understand what it even means. And so what you want to do is use AI to help you provide a story of what does this actually mean for the common day buyer, seller, or investor, and how do I communicate that? And then down below, what I love about Perplexity is it will say, hey, here's some other questions you're probably not thinking about, but I can execute on if you'd like me to. So this, again, is not, ChatGPT doesn't do that, right? It doesn't give you some follow-up questions. So I can say, well, what regions of Utah are expected to see the most significant growth in 2025? I can just click on that, and it's going to go through and search for that data for me and do that research. So this is great for research. This is great for how-to videos. Anything, have you ever gone to Google to type in like, how do I fix this? Or how do I do this, right? Those type of pieces are great on here. So again, the other side that I love about Perplexity is that it will pull in videos and it will pull in images as well, which ChatGPT does not do, right? So I can go ahead and look at images, and I can also search for a specific thing. So on here, I can change the focus. Let me turn this on. I can change the focus and say, I want to look for academic published articles. I want to do math. I want social posts, or I'm specifically looking for videos that fit this outcome, or I want you to write something for me, okay? So again, it is far more specific on the focus within here. Here's some examples of stuff that I put in. Let's say, like this, I have, don't laugh at me, but I'm not great at remembering which way my air filter should be pointing on my HVAC. And so, yeah, where should the arrow be pointing? So I said, which way should the airflow filter point on the furnace? And it shows me images, and again, shows me a video. Okay, so within seconds, I have the outcome that I need, right? So it's way faster, shows me photos of how it should be pointing and everything, which again, chat in OpenAI does not do that. Another one, like, what are the top 10 books on AI? And again, everything that it spits out, it does provide a link to the source as well. So that's another thing that I really like about the data that it spits out. So every one of these has a source that I can click on and go to. Let's look at another prompt for Perplexity. So let's say this. I want to show you again, even how to simplify life, because that allows you to focus more on the things that matter, your business and things like that. So this was, hey, how do I get text messages and messages to sync on my new MacBook from my iPhone? So again, it's going to provide me with step-by-steps and a video, and I can just go through and walk through this process. So I don't have to worry about, this is basically my tech support now, okay? And so anything that is a how-to video, you should be using on Perplexity, not Google. Because again, Google would have had you go click on 5 different, links to see which one was the best. And this does that for you, okay? Cool, that's Perplexity. Let's look at Sora. How many of you use Sora? Okay. Yeah. So it is created by OpenAI, and it is video generation. I actually will say there's actually better tools out there but it's still decent at what it can do. So these are videos created by Sora. This is basically a tiny home in a backyard is what I asked for it to create. Simple, but just a modern tiny home. Okay. Now, could you use that in marketing videos or social media posts with a voiceover? Yeah. This is downtown Salt Lake is what I asked it to create. Can you tell it's AI? It's pretty dang good, right? So Sora is great at video generation. Where is it? Here. And so yeah, you can pop in here and create videos. And again, some of these things are pretty wild. This is just showing what other people have created.
Plug in like a picture.
Just a prompt. Just a prompt. So create a, people on a raft in the ocean or something like that, and it will create it. You can actually see the prompt here. So somebody said lifeboat in a storm sea. That's all they put. And it created the video for them.
How long will the video?
So for the free version, which is what I'm on, it's only 5 seconds that you can generate. You can generate multiple clips and then you can put them together on here. If you have the pro version, you can do up to 20 seconds. So if you're creating maybe a highlight reel for clients or a B-roll reel, you can use, different videos like this and just ask it what you wanted to create. This was let's see, let's find another one. Yeah. So tons of options on here with creating video content.
They all soundless or you?
These ones are all soundless. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't, but I'll put that in the email recap. Yeah, that's a good question. How many of you use Loom? How many of you use the AI built into Loom? Okay, here's something you should be aware of. Almost all cool tech tools that are out there are starting to integrate AI into their platforms. So you need to be aware of that as well. Ask yourself, what tools do I currently use? Do they have an AI solution plugged in? Okay. And so I'm going to just show you, this is a video I created for Clay, who's my buyer. And Clay is jumping on my app and my website to search for homes. Now, think about this. You create a custom client experience through video. You're going to go through and highlight all of the big road key points throughout a client's journey, the buying process or the selling process. And you're going to create a 1 to 2 minute video explaining what happens next. So for this example, it's a buyer who I just sat down with, and I told them to use my website. I told them to use my KW app. And now I'm sending a follow-up video 2 days later to make sure they actually know how to use it. Okay. Now here's what's cool. I'm going to create the video once. I will forever be able to use this video for every single new client that I interact with, and it will change the name and make it sound like I was talking specifically to them. So I recorded the original, as you can see here, with Clay. Let's just put this on. Listen to the name. Let's see. Sorry, it might not be loud enough, but listen closely. So I said, hey, Clay. And then I went and said, all I did is change the name. So on here, you can put these variables. So on the right-hand side is where you see Loom AI pop up. I just said, now I want you to make this one's going to Novalee. So she's a new buyer in my pipeline 3 months later. I don't want to recreate this video. Talk to Novalee now instead of Clay. And so all it does, and let me just turn this up because it's important to hear. Hey, Cam, will you actually turn this up for just a second and then turn it down so my mic doesn't go wonky? Tell me if you can tell, because you can't really see my mouth too much because of how small the video is. But Novalee would never know. I think this one was for Novalee. Let's see. Oh, this one's for Jake. Okay. Let me turn my mic off. You're good.
Feature, a couple cool features in my website to make it really helpful as you guys. Hey, Jake, I want.
So the original was me saying Clay. Now this is Novalee.
Feature, a couple cool features. Hey, Clay, I wanted to send over a quick.
Let me find the one for Novalee really quick.
So much for the free version.
Well, it said I opened the wrong video, so let me open the right one. There's Novalese. Okay. So as you'll see here, it will tell you which person it's for, so you remember. So this one's for Novalese specifically.
But hey, Nova Lee, I wanted to send over a quick.
So I never actually said her name. Now, did it sound like it was my voice?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, this is going to mess up on Novalee's name. So you literally just type, who's this one going to? So you just add the variable right here, and it will change that name. So now I never have to recreate that video, but imagine, hey, you guys just finished the home inspection process. Here's what happens next. We're going to go into the appraisal phase, and here's what it looks like, and here's what we're going to do. And so I'm going to create that video once, but now every client that I send this to, I'm going to just change the name, and they're going to think that I recreated that video just for them.
This is on the paid version.
This is on the paid version, but it's $100 a year for Loom AI. Yeah. The other thing it will do for you is it will create SOPs. So if I say, let's say that this was an actual standard operating procedure. Let's see. Thank you for helping me out. So if I click on Cameron, so if I click on take action, I can create a document. And let's just say this was actually a step-by-step video that I was creating. And I want my team to operate and follow this SOP. You can see very quickly from the recorded 1 minute, it spit out an entire SOP within seconds. Now I can go ahead and copy, paste that into a Google Doc or Notion or wherever I'm going to store that SOP. Okay. So that's Loom AI. Opus. How many of you do content? How many of you create social media content or want to? How many of you want to create social media content? So imagine that you're going to use our podcast studio that we have upstairs on the 3rd floor. Okay. And you're going to start interviewing lenders or key players in the real estate space to create some very short form, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour, whatever you want, video clips of you interviewing professionals in the real estate space, or you just talking about, hey, this is what it looks like to leverage a 2-1 buy down to tap into the affordability opportunity here in Utah. And what you do is you go grab the clip, let's say you post on YouTube or you put it in your Google Drive, wherever you host that video, you then upload it to Opus. And let's click on, let me refresh. Let me click on one of these. So when you click on it, it's already created all of these. So all I did was posted it and it took about 5 minutes. It went and created all these mini shorts from the long version of this video. And it found the best clips. Okay. And then it edited it as well. So it will follow me. And again, you have to make some tweaks to this, but this is like raw. So it put all the subtitles on here, and the camera is where you can come in here and edit it so that you can basically do a face lock feature. Will lock in on your face and it will follow you throughout the whole video. I didn't spend any time editing this clip, and it just went and did that for me. Okay. So this program is $100 a year, again, for the pro version, and you can do whatever videos you want. You can upload in here and it will cut. This is Opus AI, OPUS. When you go into the edit function is where you can change and say, hey, that's great for an Instagram reel or story, but I actually would like, I want one to actually go on YouTube as a long format. And so you can go ahead and change. And sorry, I don't remember how to do it on this format. I think it might be on this clip settings. Yeah. So you can go ahead and change it to these different aspect ratios. So this one's for a story, but I can say, you know, I want this one to be formatted for Facebook, and I can adjust that. Or YouTube, I'm going to post on YouTube, and it will readjust that video. Now it's going to take 60 seconds to reformat it. Instead of a long shot, it's going to be formatted for a YouTube or Facebook shot. Okay. So that's Opus. For the sake of time, I'm just going to jump through and just point out a few more that you guys should be aware of, but I can't do demos on it all. The last one I'll recommend is Mapify, M-A-P-I-F-Y. This is to create, very simply, mind maps on topics or content. So all I said was let's look at, I just said, give me the 4 real estate models in the MREA. And it built this for me. I didn't give it any other context, okay? And it went through and built the MREA model for me. And I can even go ahead and customize it and say, I want a instead of a grid, I want a mind map. And I want to change the colors. Bless you. And very quickly, so if you're thinking through a concept of what is the value proposition of a real estate agent, or how can I structure my value proposition in my business, have it create the ideas initially, and then say, where do I need to improve based off the tentacles that it provided me? Where should I go look into improving my personal business? So this is more for idea generation and seeing things in a mind map type view. Again, what I wanted to do today is go through an expansive type of options rather than going deep, to just show you guys the wide range of options that are available and how AI is going to be integrated to almost everything that you guys touch from a technology perspective. And it's going to make things better. As we wrap up, what questions or thoughts, ahas, comments do you have? This one, I literally just said, what are the 4 real estate models in the MREA? Very simple prompt.
You could use a report on otter, and then you put a transcript into there, and it like create this.
You could, I would probably put the transcript into OpenAI first, and then bring it over here. Yeah. How many of you learned something of what AI could do today that you didn't think was possible prior to stepping in this room? Awesome. I want to hear some ideas or ahas that came through. So let's hear some top takeaways from today. Or questions too, if you want to throw some questions out.
Love the idea of being able to have the Cliff's Notes version of books, various ones that you want to learn, and communication, real estate, whatever, buyers, sellers. That was really cool. And I want to see the prompt again.
Yeah. I'll give that out for sure.
That was cool. Really cool.
So I got a question on the Chat GPT, on the pro version. Has it gone through and read every book?
No, it's essentially pulling data from online.
Okay.
So it's scouring the web and looking for any information it can find, and then building a synopsis around what it finds online. And some of the data, they actually have been done, PDF version of the entire book as well. So if it has,
So it's not like I can say, give me a point by point per chapter,
you can do that. So you can say, give me a breakdown of, 5 bullet points for each chapter of this book, and it will do that as well.
How about the chat? I remember like a year ago, there was like it's only had data 20.
Yeah, so if you pay for the pro version, you have access to real-time data now. So it actually can scour the web of real-time data if you can pay for the upgraded version. $bucks a month. Yeah. Stacey, where are you going?
I'm cleaning up my database. Sure, it's reorganizing it. And I put my whole database into it, and it asked it to reorganize it, structure it, and tell me what information I'm missing. And set up a schedule for me to connect with one of them to get an idea. It was incredible. Like they created everything for me. It was amazing. So that's how you're taking it to another level. I'm like, oh my God, we're just mastering this. But that's cool.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Great perspective.
Yeah, sensitive information, how much do you trust and give your client information, name or whatever?
I would be fine with like giving basic information, names, stuff like that. I would never give it actual sensitive data. So yeah, be very, I would say just, mindful of that. And don't put, very secure data into it. But like if I'm saying, hey, I'm writing an email for this client, their name is X, I'm totally fine with putting the name in there. Not a problem at all. Yep. There's not much it can do with their name, right? So that's just be mindful of like, well, what could, what data is safe to put in there for sure. Any other ideas or questions?
We've got across the board on all of them with copyright.
You should ask ChatGPT that, to be honest. The answer is I don't know. But like if you're writing so the copyright would probably only come into play if you're doing it for like commercial use. So you're gonna be posting stuff, I don't know. Like for example, if I said write a article and take it from James Clear, who's an author, if it goes and takes, an article that he's already written from his website, and then I just kind of use that same thing, that might have a copyright issue, right? So I would just be safe with that. And that's where you can take that and then say, okay, rewrite this in completely different ways. And then you want to go through and restructure it yourself as well. So you want to edit it afterwards and say, okay, this is actually more my tonality, my voice, and I'm going to go ahead and put my touch on it to make sure that it doesn't have any kind of copyright issues.
Videos, you could say, like how you were showing the facts, you could use.
With that one, I do know. So you can use, if you go to Midjourney, if you're using that one, they specifically say you're free to use it completely commercially as long as you're still paying for the subscription. So commercially meaning you're blasting it on social media and trying to create revenue from it. If you're just doing like an Instagram post, it's always going to be fine. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. But if you're using your Midjourney photos in any capacity, almost any capacity, you're going to be totally fine. Unless you're like, I'm creating a movie and I'm going to put it in Cinemark. Like that's where you have to have that creative rights and where you have to pay for the membership to have it. But with Midjourney, if you even cancel the membership, you're free to use all those images social media wise and personal one-to-one client business wise without any hiccups or issues at all. And they have those terms on their website. Cool. Well, here's the challenge. And Johnny, I want your perspective too. I want to have you kind of throw this out of how important you feel like this AI conversation is for our agents and for really staying relevant as the business landscape evolves in the next couple of years.
Well, I think the room's packed for a reason, right? I think we all understand it's probably one of the most important times of like humanity. And there's all sorts of theories and speculation on how fast all this is coming and going to change society. But I think you kind of have to just boil this down to a handful of like filtering questions for yourself. The example that I shared with our leadership a little bit ago is I was at a family reunion like 8 years ago when Ben Kinney was explaining about expenses inside of your real estate business. Because if you don't know this, realtors spend $13 billion a year in the country on just buying leads, marketing, that type of stuff. And there's a lot of money we just waste. It's a really good industry to sell things to realtors because we buy a lot of stuff, right? And Ben Kinney said this when he's talking about the way that we spend our money in a real estate businesses. He said there's only 3 types of expenses inside your real estate business. Number one is you're spending money for your own ego. There's a lot of things that we do for our own ego that doesn't necessarily make us more money. The second type of expense is money we're spending for our client's ego. So we're spending money to make them feel better, but that doesn't necessarily sell their home faster or actually make them more money or make us money. And then the third expense is you actually invest in expense that's going to have a positive return in your real estate business. So for your ego, client's ego, and a positive return. AI, you kind of have to just boil it down to 2 things. Like, is this AI tool, is this app, is this, prompt, whatever, is this going to make you more efficient as a realtor? Like, is this going to help you sell more homes or help your clients or whatever more efficiently? And then the second thing, does this improve customer service to your buyers and sellers? So when you're getting overwhelmed with AI and even all this, I caught probably half of it. And I feel like I'm paying attention to AI pretty well. Shelley's no doubt an advanced student on all this, but for me, it's just, is this going to make us more efficient as realtors? And is this going to improve customer service for our buyers and sellers? And if you don't think that, if that's a no immediately, then just back burner it and focus on the handful of things that we're doing. But I think in general, I've been a little asleep at the wheel of technology. I've kind of just fell in love with what I love, and I've kind of just stayed that way the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. This is a time that we have to open our brains and pay attention to everything. Personally, I'm committing probably 30, 45, 60 minutes a day to just studying, playing, tinkering, or whatever. How much time do you think you spend a day?
Probably an hour. And it's more of like learning through the process. What am I doing? Like, what do I need to get done? How can I do it faster? That's one thing I didn't share. Again, there's so much on this. This is like the pinky of what I feel like I've learned on AI the last year and a half. What's in the works, just so you guys know, is we do have the AI-driven real estate entrepreneur. It's a deep dive course. It's probably going to be like a 4-hour-ish course that's on video. Because again, in this kind of setting, I can't go through all the nuances of how you can program your ChatGPT to think like you, how you can build out custom AIs for specific use cases, stuff like that. So that's what the course is going to go on. It's a deeper dive into all these different tools. There's a lot I couldn't show you for time's sake today. that we'll be going through for the course. So that's coming. But here's a challenge that we want to put in place in the office. So we have a WhatsApp chat. We're creating a specific channel for AI. Okay. What we want is to ensure that every agent in this office is the most equipped to utilize AI in their business over the next year. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have this AI WhatsApp chat, and we want you to throw out any cool AI tools that you come across. Okay. Not like the basic stuff that you're like ChatGPT, everybody probably knows about that one. But if you come across one, we're like, hey, this is cool. I'm going to throw it out in the chat so everybody else is aware of it. And the second thing is prompts. Okay. Again, the quality of your prompts has a huge impact on the quality of the output of what you get. And so we want to see the coolest prompts that agents are using to grow their business, be more effective, more efficient. And so you're going to throw those prompts as well in that chat. So anybody who wants to study AI, this is basically going to be kind of an incubator for agents who are focused on using AI in their business. Okay. And what we're going to do is each month, we'll still work out a little bit of the details, but we'll have some sort of voting mechanism where we'll vote on what is the best tool or the best prompts that were surfaced from that group. And the winner, whoever brought that prompt to the table or put that app in there, will be getting a $500 to $1,000 bonus. This is per month. Okay, this is coming from Clay's budget. So this is how serious we are about making sure you're using technology effectively. And again, the two outcomes need to be, it's giving you more time back in life so you can spend time with family, doing things that are more important to you, or it's providing higher ROI, return on investment, meaning I'm providing better service to clients or servicing more clients because of using this technology. Okay. Awesome. Thank you all for showing up today. Enjoy lunch and have a great week.